This is Timothy Perfect from Twocanoes Software, and I want to show you a demo of our second beta, which we're releasing for Scone, Smart Card over Network Extension, that allows you to share your smart card from a local machine to a remote machine and do password authentication, passwordless authentication to that remote machine. In Beta 2, we've introduced the ability to use smart card authentication with VNC, or the remote connection. So you can do a seamless remote connection up to that remote machine, screen share, and then do all your authentication, proxy back to a smart card that you have plugged into the local machine. So let's jump right in and let me show you how this works. So we need two machines. First one is I'll call the local machine, the local Mac. I'll call my admin Mac because that's the one that the person that's the administrator that might want to be connecting up to a remote machine to be able to do screen sharing with it and be able to start using that remote machine. The remote machine we'll call a remote Mac. So on the local Mac here, I have running a virtual machine. That is a stock version of 10.15.5 or 6, and it could be a remote machine in a data center somewhere. It could be on your desktop, at your office, wherever. But it's basically no software has been installed yet, and I'll walk you through the entire process to be able to do it. And then on the local machine, we'll install Scone to be able to connect up to it. The software is the same on both sides, but one side's acting as a listener to be able to proxy that connection back to the admin machine, and the other one's just using to connect up to it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll configure the remote machine, and what we'll do is we have to set up an SSL certificate on both sides. We provide an SSL certificate that's built into Scone. This, of course, will allow you to specify your own SSL certificate once we've released it. So we'll install this into the system keychain because it is going to be listening in the background, so you can use login window as well. And so let me go ahead and trust that, and it'll ask the password for this identity. I'll put it in, and now if I look under my system keychain, I'll see that I have this Scone certificate, and I will trust it. It needs to be trusted because the local crypto token get extension needs to talk to the daemon, and that does that over SSL, so we need to trust it. There we go. And also, since the daemon needs to use the private key, we need to allow it to have access to that private key. So we'll just give it access in there in the system keychain. There we go. So now that's all been set up, and we'll go ahead and install the software now. All right, so now the package is being installed. It actually installs the Scone application, a launch daemon to be able to listen for any connections up, as well as a custom Open Directory plugin that allows us to do the VNC connection for those network users. Once that's been installed, we can then install the software on our local machine as well. All right, it's now been installed. So on this local machine, you can see that I don't have any smart cards inserted. You go down to smart cards, and you can see that I don't have any certificates from the smart cards inserted. We do have this virtual serial driver, which is what's going to proxy that connection. So that's all been installed, so we can hide it. We don't need to use that anymore. And then on the local machine, you can see I do have a smart card installed or inserted. You can see that I have my YubiKey smart card PIV-enabled key installed, and I have the certificates here. So that's all installed and ready to be set up. So on the client, we need to trust the SSL certificate. So we just double click on the SSL certificate, add that to our login keychain, and then if we look and see under Scone, under certificates, there it is. I've actually already marked it as trusted. So if it wasn't trusted, we would go under trust and select always trust. But that's been done already. And then we just install the software on this machine. So I double click on it and go through that same procedure of installing it. And then once it's been installed, I've actually already installed it on this one, we run Scone. And you can see that it's been installed, and it shows me that I have 4 certificates on my smart card that's going to be using. And what we'll do is we'll connect up to the remote machine. So I need to put in the IP address. We use port 4116 to be able to connect up to that's listening on the other side. So I'll click on connect. And what the first thing it does is, once established that connection, is it challenges the person connecting up to prove that they actually have access to the private key on the smart card locally. So I'll put in my PIN for that smart card, and then that connection completes, and I'm now connected up to it. So now I can actually start screen sharing. And what it does is it negotiates a symmetric key to be able to allow this connection, or a token. And I can click on connect. And you can see I'm now connected to this remote machine through just smart card authentication, no password required to be entered. So that's really exciting. And so now that I've connected up to it, I can insert a smart card. So if I click on insert, you can see that now the smart card actually shows up. And if I look into system information, you can see that I now have that local smart card is now showing up remotely. So all those are available for authentication. So first thing I need to do is pair with that user account. So we can choose the certificate that we want to use. I'll use the certificate for card authentication, and I'll pair it with that user account, and I will specify the local password to allow this pairing operation. And you can see that Scone prompted me locally, do you want to allow this? So it's protecting the assets, or protecting the certificates on that local smart card. I'll click on allow, and the pairing will complete. And so now I need to enter in my keychain password to be able to complete that. And so now I'm paired, and I can go into a system preference, for example, startup disk, and click on the lock. And now it's prompting me for PIN, so I'll put in my PIN. And as soon as I do that, it prompts me locally to say, do you want to allow this signing? So I'll say allow, and then the system preference completes. So now I'm doing passwordless authentication proxy back to my smart card in this machine, all through this screen sharing session. But wait, we're not done yet. We still want to be able to authenticate at the login window, which is a pretty important piece. So what we'll do is we have to run a command to allow authentication at the login window. So here's the command for scauth that allows us to enable authentication at the login window. And this is kind of neat because it uses the sudo command. And so when I hit return, it's going to prompt me for my PIN because that user has been paired for that smart card. I'll put in my PIN, and I'll get prompted locally, do I want to allow this signing? So I say yes, that command is now run, and the login window is now enabled for smart card authentication. Oops, let me go ahead and choose log out. All right, now I've logged out. You can see that it says PIN. So the login window is now enabled for smart card authentication remotely, even though there's no smart card plugged in. It's all proxied. I can actually remove the smart card as well, and you can see the login window changes. So it's requiring username and password. I can then do an insertion event, and it changes to PIN. And just like all the other times we did this, I'll do the PIN, and I get prompted locally, do you want to allow the signing? I say yes, and then the login proceeds. In this current build, we don't have the keychain unlocking yet, so you do have to put in a password for that. But that is something that's we'll have for the release to be able to unlock the keychain using your smart card. So that's pretty much all the components of this beta 2 allows you to proxy your smart card remotely, so you can do all passwordless authentication with system preferences and do screen sharing as well as authenticate at the login window. So thanks very much for watching. Please be sure to check out Twocanoes.com for more information, or drop us a line at support@twocanoes.com to learn more about Scone. And we look forward to seeing how you're going to use it. Thank you very much for watching.